Hello, hello. Are we there? Are we ready? Can you hear me now? Uh-oh. Hang on a second. I'm sure that's my phone saying, hey, you're live. So let me turn that off. There we go. Wow. It feels like I haven't been on in a while, but I guess it's only been a week. um, so, um, I finished the P-61. So we'll talk about that here in a bit. We'll go over it like we did with the B-26 back when we did that. And the project's not done, but the kit's done. I started on the diorama base. So yeah, we'll deal with that. But a couple of things to attend to first. Here's the kit. Here's the next raffle kit. We're taking entries through the end of February. We will have the drawing for this sometime after the last day of February. It's usually within the couple of days, if not, the very next day. But this is pretty cool. Trumpeter 135th scale SA2 guideline. SAM. It's a SAM. And like 150 pieces or something. It's not bad. What does it say here? 158 pieces. So it's not too terrible. It's in the realm of getting it done fairly quickly. So, yeah, as usual, send your entry to ShutterAce at ShutterAce.com. That entry is a single photo of one of your most recent builds. There's Jeff. Hello, Jeff. And we will be using that photo in the presentation when we make the drawing, so it will go up on YouTube, so you're aware. So if you're not okay with that, don't enter. Okay? If you just want to send me photos of stuff to put up, like a reader's gallery or a viewer's gallery, I guess, I'm willing to do that. So, if you just want to send photos of your stuff and have it shown in one of the videos or whatever, I am more than willing to have a viewer's gallery or something, whatever. We'll come up with a name for it if that ends up happening. But just so you know, that's an option. I mean, I'm not against that at all. This is just as much your guys' show as it is mine. And I use the term show loosely. So something really interesting I wanted to kind of share with you. I have a pretty good library, and sometimes I just go through there looking for something, nothing in particular, but just something to kind of browse through for maybe inspiration's sake or something. And I came up with this, and I had kind of forgotten that I ever bought this. It's Air War Europa Chronology 42 to 45 by Eric Hamill. I was actually looking for a different book that I can't find, but anyway. And this is really cool. It literally goes through. Let me take this dust jacket off. It literally goes through the 8th Air Force and actually, I think it does 9th and 12th Air Forces too. But let me see if I can show you a picture here. It is, I mean, I know it says it's a chronology, but it is literally a chronology. So like it'll say, oh, let's pick a short, well, here's a semi-short day here. March 21st, 1943. Tunisia. NASAF B-17s escorted by P-38s attacked the Axis landing ground at Jebel Tabaga. NATBF A-20s and B-25s attack Jebel Tabaga and Mazona, whatever. And under escort by nearly 100 9th Fighter Command P-40s, 9th Bomber Command B-25s attacked the road through Gabes. It's probably Gabaz, but it's Gabe's. Between 10:45 and 10:55 hours, as elements of the U.S. 1st Armored Division drive to within artillery range of McNassie, 31st Fighter Group Spitfire pilots downed 4 Ju-87 dive bombers and damaged several Bf-109s. Also, a 1st Fighter Group P-38 pilot downs a Bf-109 over Gabe's aerodrome at about 14:45 hours. This book is full of that stuff, day by day. It's pretty stinking cool. It is, including the index, it's almost 600 pages. I mean, it's not really something you would just sit down and read, unless you were a total nerd like me, and you might. But I just thought it was really interesting and really cool. I like books, and I have some pretty interesting books, and I guess I'll try and do that every week. I'll grab a book out of my library here, and we'll talk about it, because yeah, I have some interesting things. Downed a Bf-109. Surely that never happened. Well, they built what, 40,000 of them, and how many are left? Oh, anyway, I don't know. You know, who flew them after the war? The Spanish, the Israelis. There's a couple other countries. It seems to me, Turkey. I want to say Turkey, and Portugal had British stuff. I don't know. Anyway, not to get too sidetracked. So yeah, let's move along here. The P-61. Let's just get to it. Let me flip the cameras here, and we'll check it out. All right. So here is the P-61. Oh, sorry if my voice sounds crazy, but I got a cold. Spain, Israel, yeah. Okay, let's look at this thing. So I said last week I was rearranging stuff in the shop, and so I had my display case was over here. You guys can't see this, but my display case was here, and my other desk was over here. Well, I swapped them. So I have like an L-shaped work area now, and then my display case is over here next to this workspace. And that seems to work a little better. And once I get it all squared away and figured out, I'll show some pictures. But where was I going with that? What was the point? I don't know. There was a point there. Oh, the camera. So the face cam here is actually, so the monitor's here. So the face cam is like 45 degrees. It's next to the monitor, but it's pointing 45 degrees. Because if I don't do that, then I can't see the green. Then the green screen doesn't fill the frame. If I do it straight off of the monitor, the green screen ends about here, and I'd have to do a whole bunch of stuff to move the green screen. Czechoslovakia, yeah, that's right. That's S199 or whatever. So I gotta get used to where my head is again. But and then the 1080p camera for the workbench is hanging off the monitor. Well, it's not really hanging off the monitor. It's hanging off of something that's behind the monitor, but it's looking over top of the monitor. Anyway, not that you care, but so excuse me. Where am I? Yeah, the P-61. So I finished it. I actually finished it yesterday. I don't remember when did I start this? I don't even remember. It doesn't seem like it's been that long ago. I mean, in relative terms for me. Hang on, let me look here. When did I start this? No, I need to go there. I have to redo my backups on my PC here are running right now. And I changed them to run only once a week, and I thought they were running on Thursdays because I didn't want them to be running while I was doing the live stream here. Not that it's really that much of an issue. This is a pretty good machine. Okay, come on. Let's see. Sorry, I should have been prepared. Did I start this at Christmas? December 18th, give or take. Okay, so what's today? So I finished it on the 18th, so it took a month. Okay, that's good. I mean, it's not good, but it's good because, you know, my goal has always been to do one kit a month, and I've never really done that, at least not since, you know, I started painting things and stuff. So yeah, so let's see here. Okay. Sorry, I had to look at something. So let me close that. It looks like the backup stopped. That's good. Yes, close the terminal. So anyway, P-61. So this, so I built this as a P-61A. It's a -5 or a -10. It's fictitious. You know, all I did, I used the kit decal, so it's a real tail number. I took some of the other markings in the kit and kind of customized the nose art and stuff. Just because if you've watched my stuff before, I do this quite a bit where I just kind of make things up. I do actual aircraft at times, but when I'm just trying to represent a subject, I don't really care that much about it being an exact, you know, representation of a specific aircraft, as much as I'd rather have it just be a representation of the airframe and not anything in specific. You know, like it's anonymous, I guess. So anyway, excuse me. So I did do some modifications here. I'm going to grab it real quick here and flip it over. You know what? Hang on. Let me pull it up off the base here. Can I set it in here without breaking something off? Yes, I can. Okay, so I kind of got stupid with the chipping here. And I can go back and touch that up, but so as you can see here, this is all, I haven't really done a whole lot. What I did do is I cut some panels out here and stuff, and opened this bay up here, and you know, basically the engine's removed. I added some things onto that bulkhead, that firewall. It's not a firewall, but that bulkhead back there. But in reality, there's really nothing there. But it was really plain in there, so I put that in there. The gun bays and stuff are box stock, metalizer gunmetal, some brass for the shells. That's about it. The gear bays here. I think all I did was just painted them and then ran a black wash in them, and I just used testers. I had a couple of people ask me what I used for the zinc chromate, and where is it? And I will show you. There it is. This guy right here. I don't know what the number is. The one label came off, but this is the old square bottle testers enamel zinc chromate, or zinc chromate yellow, or whatever they call it. That's always been my favorite zinc chromate, and you know, you can just take this and mix it with the little black to make zinc chromate green, but I actually use the Model Master interior green, or green zinc chromate, or whichever it is. I think they actually have it labeled as both. But so yeah, this is all that little tester square bottle. I think I'm down to about 2 bottles. I might have to go find some. And then the green is the interior green, or is it interior green that I used? It is, yeah, interior green. 34151. But whatever, you know, not that important. There's some exhaust staining down here. Let me see if I can what was I going to do here? I don't know. Anyway. Let me set her back down. I'm just gonna, so she's definitely a tail setter, and it doesn't matter how much weight I put in it. Since I chopped this off, it's even worse than it was. But so the paint is Model Master flat black, and then the gloss coat is Future Pledge Floor Shine, whatever. I'm gonna have to get some more. I still have this, the old Pledge Floor Care finish model, so I've had this for quite a while. But so all I did was I used the Montex mask set on this, and we'll talk about mask set in a bit, because I was talking to Jeff earlier about this kind of a little bit, but. So I used the Montex mask set, painted it flat. The wheel wells and everything were already painted. I painted it flat black, came back in, hit it with the gloss coat, and what did I do? Where am I? Oh, then I went back and I, with Tamiya flat flat clear, and which I'm not crazy about Tamiya flat clear at all, but it's what I had that wasn't dull coat, and it's way too cold outside to be spraying, and I'm trying not to spray dull coat in the house. I use dull coat in the rattle can. Yes, I have an airbrush, but this is just the easy way to go, and I've done this forever and it works fine. And although this is not the same stuff, I don't think that we've all been using for years, if you know what I mean. So, where was I? Yeah, so I took the Tamiya flat and did the wheel wells and the engine area here, and I just free-handed it. I wasn't really worried about getting some flat in different places because that's okay. It's just going to give some interest to the finish. Looks like there's a line across there or something. Anyway, then I came back and did the and I actually did some flat on like the nose and up here in front of the windscreen, and the prop blades got flat. Got Tamiya flat on the front surfaces. Really, no, I did front and back both. Excuse me. The rear of the prop is almost devoid of paint because of this is a South Pacific aircraft, or it's gonna be, so it's that coral typically just wore the paint off the back of the prop blades. That was a pretty normal thing. So that's why there's some pretty good amount of chipping and stuff on the leading edges and whatnot. And let me see, I got a pin in that front wheel to keep it in the hole. But it's still, so when I get it all put together and glue it down, it'll be fine. Are we in the right place? No. There we are. All right. The exhaust streaks are khaki and buff. Tamiya khaki and Tamiya buff. I just kind of put it on there. I still don't have great lighting in the airbrush where I'm doing my airbrushing right now, mainly because I stole it all to put it out here. So sometimes I can't really see as well as I would like to be able to see, but it's fine. It looks fine. As I said, decals were kit decals. The Tamiya Mark Fit and Mark Fit Strong didn't do anything. I had to go with the Microset and the Microsol. Actually, I first laid them down at I didn't do the Microset and Microsol. I laid them down in a puddle of Future and then put Future over top of them. And then the one on the bottom of the wing kind of bubbled up on me or wasn't laying right, so I put some Microsol on it a few times and eventually got it down. I almost had to steamroll it down. So that wasn't great. It looks okay, but it's on the bottom, so who cares? So yeah, but it is what it is, right? It's a Monogram kit from 1974. And that's okay, and I kind of wanted to go, and I've talked about this before, and I feel like it's important to kind of keep rattling on about it, because there are different people in different parts of the hobby, or that do the hobby for different reasons, as we've talked about before, and it kind of turns into a battle, I guess, and I don't really get it, why it needs to be a battle. I think those of us who build these old Monogram kits, these are part of our history, and um, at least that's the way I feel about it. This is part of my history, and um, yeah, they have warts and stuff, and it's fine, and I'm okay with that, and I'm not, I don't get all uptight about it. Um, but I certainly appreciate, a modern kit that has, near perfect fit and nice detail and whatnot. Um, so I can do both ends of the spectrum, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't expect this. I don't expect a 1974 Monogram kit to measure up to a Tamiya, even a 20-year-old Tamiya kit. I don't expect them to be on the same level, and that's fine, and I don't think that when you get them done that they have to look like they're, equals or whatever. It's fine, the raised panel line, all that stuff. None of that stuff bugs me. It's it's all good, right? It's all good. Build what you want. Like I always say, build what you want. I'll tell you what I think, but build what you want. Gee, I sound like my dad. That was my dad's thing. I'll tell you why you shouldn't do something, but do what you want. Oh, Jeff got him a DO17Z. A classic airframes one, right? You poor man. Oh. Anyway, so so my expectations, I guess what I'm saying is to look at this and expect it to be a Tamiya P-47 kit. It's just not reality, and it's just not fair. Fair, I don't know. I hate that word, fair. What's fair? Anyway, so, when I build these, I don't get all crazy about the seams and stuff because I'm not going to spend 6 months on this thing. It's not, and it's not that I don't care about it, but that's a long time. And I got 100 and something kits in a stack in there, and even if I build them at 12 a year, I've got 10 years worth of stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as the Monogram stuff. And I know a lot of people hate it and they don't like it and whatever. But, as I said, do what you want to do. So what's the plan here with this? The plan is to do, let me see, have you seen, I'm sure you have, let me switch cameras here. This is always interesting to do. Here we go. So this is Shep Payne's this is this website, shepherdpaint@atspace.com has all of the sheets that they used to put in the kits of the dioramas that Shep Payne built back in the 70s and 80s. Anyway, so what I'm thinking is I'm going to do something like this. Obviously not exactly like this. Excuse me. And I'll tell you what my thinking is. For one thing, I have read that this he used this screen here that they put down for the aircraft to be on or whatever. I have read that there's really no pictorial evidence of this being in maintenance areas. I don't know. so I'm not really worried about it. I've already got my base groundwork on here. Um, and obviously I don't have, the weapons are still in the aircraft on mine. I don't have this open. This engine is not opened up at all. I just noticed his exhaust streaks are wrong. Anyway, and my rendition of this is not exactly the same as his by any means. I'm not going to have this crane here. My thought is they're not going to necessarily just build this thing, take this engine apart right there in all of that coral sand and stuff. They're going to at least take it to a tent. Now, I don't know. I don't have any evidence for this. I'm just talking. This is just how it's working in my head. So, so my diorama here is going to be a lot plainer than this. My thought is, they'd back up here with a crane truck, pull the motor, and take it off to a maintenance area in a tent or something somewhere where they could at least keep the dust down and put the thing together. Do whatever they have to do, and then truck it back out. So I don't. This is visually interesting, but I just don't see it really happening that way. And the trees here in the background, if you look at pictures of aircraft in the South Pacific, well, even in Europe, they don't have trees all around the airfield. They've bulldozed all that stuff down. Again, I get it. It's for visual interest, but it's not really reality there. This is interesting. He's got all this detail on this bulkhead here, and I've looked at the one that they're restoring back east, and there's nothing on that bulkhead. All this is really interesting, is little gizmology stuff. Anyway, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, this website's pretty cool, shepherdpayne.atspace.com. My original thought, I'll show you another one of my favorites that was done. Of course, everybody loves the B-17 one if you haven't seen this. I think this is the first one I ever saw, and it's pretty fantastic. This was in the original B-17 kit that I bought when I was like 10 years old. And, what can I say? I stared and stared and stared and read that thing and looked over it I don't know how many times. But here was another one that was one of my favorites. I really like this one. And this is kind of where I was thinking about originally going with this P-61, but did not end up going there with it. But I really like this. So I didn't want to invest that much time in this right now, and I have, I think, 3 B-25 kits. So I have this one, the H, and I have the J gun nose and the J glass nose. But yeah, so anyway, get away from that here now. Oh, thanks, Kate. Yeah, don't get uptight about them. They're old kits and they're fun. Just build it. Build it and enjoy yourself. Why get all uptight? Okay, so what else was I going to talk about? Masks. Okay, so the masks. So I use those Montex masks on this, and they're the vinyl ones. They're not the paper tape. I really like them. They come off really easy. They typically don't lift the paint. I had one little section over here in the front where it lifted the paint about 1/8 of an inch, and I just went in there with a brush and touched it up. And I put a lot of clear coats on this, a lot of gloss coats. It was wet. um, to get the finish, and I was really worried that I was going to pull the paint up off the clear parts. Excuse me. But it didn't, other than that one spot. So I was pretty impressed with that. I like the what am I thinking? They tend, in my opinion, they come up easier than the tape ones. They don't seem to be as sticky, and I'm not saying that they're not sticky enough that they're going to come off, because they don't. They're plenty sticky enough. But my experience with the tape ones is they tend to really kind of hold on, at least the ones that I've dealt with. And that can be kind of dangerous if you're having a hard time getting that thing off of there. But these typically, I'll just take a toothpick and kind of just run up to the edge and run up just a little bit past the edge and just kind of, stab it a little bit just to where you kind of get a grip, and then you just push it a little bit and you get a wrinkle in it. And then you just take your tweezers and grab the wrinkle and roll it right off. But they end up stuck all over the place. The little pieces too. At least with this one, I was like, I had little pieces of vinyl stuck all over my workbench for a couple of hours. Just be working on something. I was like, oh, there's another piece. But so I really like those. Masks are another expense, and you kind of have to decide whether they're worth it or not to you. I'm at the point where I don't really shop for kits anymore, because there's not, I'm not going to say there's things that I don't want, but there's not a whole lot. Actually, there's some things we'll talk about here in a minute, but so to spend, $5 or $6 or whatever on a mask set for a kit that I've already got is okay with me now. Well, not right now because I'm out of work, but when I'm working, I'm okay with that. Because I'm not buying kits. But it's kind of, when I was still buying kits and still had kits that I wanted, it wasn't a priority. It was, I looked at it as another expense. But honestly, I've used these Montex ones a couple of times now. I've got another set for, I don't know. Anyway, I'd have to go look and see what it's for. I bought like 3 or 4 sets to try. And I really like them, is the bottom line. And I'll probably keep buying them. I'm looking forward to one kit. You're looking forward to one kit, dare I ask? Oh, I know what it is. It ends in a Z, doesn't it? It starts with Z, it ends in a G. Anyway, so yeah, I get it. They cost money, but they're a huge time saver, and honestly, this thing would have been a nightmare to mask. And I don't know, if you've seen the B26 series, when I actually had to sand the frames off of that thing and polish it all back up and whatnot, and that was great because it was just a clean slate, and I just started at the center and I lined up the first piece and I set everything else out and sprayed it, and it looks really good because there's no raised frame. It's just paint, and I like the way it looks. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna go sanding the frames off all of my kits. That's not gonna happen. This cold is driving me nuts. Okay, so So hopefully I can work on this this week. And this is just, let me show you this. Let me pull this off of here. This is just a piece of expanded styrofoam that I got out of some kind of packaging thing. I put a thin layer of spackle on the top. I don't know what all this junk is in here, but and I put some tire tracks in it, so it's basically coral. It's just gonna be coral sand, and I'll put some sides on it. And I don't know exactly where it's going to go. There's not going to be a bunch of equipment around it. It's just going to be pretty plain, excuse me. And the nice thing about it is this will fit on the bottom shelf of my display case, so I don't have to leave it out where it's going to get all dusty. And which is the number one reason to have a display case, in my opinion, the dust. Or the lack of dust if you have a display case. Makes life much easier. Let me get this out of here. Okay. Where am I? So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, the way it came out. Let me put this up here. So you guys can look at that. So that's the prize for the drawings at the beginning of March. And I was thinking today, you know, maybe we don't have to limit these giveaways to kits. Maybe we could do other things like, books, you know, or paint sets or something. I don't know. We'll see. You know, these are things that I have or get donated or whatever to go out as prizes. So that's where those come from. So they're coming out of somebody's pocket. Kits. I was going to talk about kits. So, as we talked about a while ago, the plan is we're going to always have at least one monogram kit going. And, which is cool, which is fine. But I was looking at my list of what I have right now, and almost everything that I have is a medium or a heavy bomber. And I don't know how many of those I can build in a row and work on other things. Excuse me. So, the only thing I have right now that's a smaller aircraft is the F-104. So that might be the next one up. We'll see. But I need to start looking around for some, like, the P-51Bs. I don't know about the D. I never built the D kit, so, you know, I built a few of the Tamiya D kits, but I think the only P-51D I built as a kid was it the Monogram one with the F-51 with the landing gear and the little wheel on the bottom. The landing gear would go up and all that stuff. Anyway, I know they did it. It was they did a Phantom Mustang, but mine wasn't the clear one. I think they did another version of it. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, so you know, like the old vintage, like even the old Spitfire kit, the 109. The Zero, the FW190. things like that I need to keep an eye out for, and so that we can do those here on the channel. I'm not real crazy about the old ones that had all the working parts. The 148 Monogram D is okay. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good. I've heard it's pretty good. I don't. Yeah, I don't recall ever building it though. I'm not a super big Mustang fan, I guess. I like the B models. I think they look like a race car. But, you know, something I was thinking about today, just to get completely off topic. So why is it that the Air Force, the USAF, went to the bubble canopies? I mean, I know why they did, for visibility reasons. But the Navy never did, with like the Corsair and the Hellcat, and the Navy never went that direction. And why is that? Even with the Tiger Cat, I mean, they didn't get to a bubble canopy until the Bearcat, and the Bearcat was post-war. There's just something I was thinking about today for no other reason than because I didn't have anything better to do, I guess. Anyway, just an interesting thought. But yeah, so the P-61's done. I got to pick the next thing. I need to get this stupid aircraft carrier done. And of course the base on the P-61. That base won't take me that long. Just because it's not going to be that complicated. And then I'm going to have to rearrange some things. But, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's where we're at this week. If I talk any longer, I'm going to start coughing like crazy. I'm starting to sound worse and worse and worse. So we'll do that. I think I'll grab a book every week and we'll talk about the book and whatnot. And, yeah, right. No idea. I don't have any idea either. It's like, why? Well, you know, why did they do it in Europe and whatnot, and then the Navy wasn't. You know, I'm assuming that because the Navy's. I'm assuming that. Well, I guess I shouldn't assume that. I was going to say, you know, that toward the end there. In Europe, there wasn't a whole lot of opposition, so it's like, did you need the bubble canopy, or did they need it more in the Pacific? I don't know. I wasn't there, obviously. So hey, I guess that's it. We're done for this week. I'm gonna go take some NyQuil and go to bed. That's what I'm gonna do. But I'll think about the kit. You know, I'll probably put a poll up on the Facebook site, on the Facebook page about what's next. But I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward that F-104. And then, like I said, once I get back to work, I'll start looking for some more single engine Monogram kits. And that P-51B is hard to find, and I don't really understand why. You can find them in 72nd scale all day long. And but oh, you know what I do have too? I forgot is I actually have the old like 1969 boxing of the P-40N. There's probably like 12 parts. You know, that was back in the days when in 72nd scale it was the strut and the wheel and tire was all molded as one piece. Excuse me. That one would be fun. That wouldn't take long. And then I actually have. They had these old kits that had. They had 3 aircraft in a kit, and there were different ones. And I think Revell did them too. But I have the one that's got like the Goshawk and the P-6E and the F-4B-4, the Boeing. You know those old 30s era aircraft? It's got all 3 of them in it. I'm sure the decals are shot, so I'd have to get some decals. But Those would be fun. I don't really do a lot of 70-second. But, yeah. Anyway, we'll figure it out where we're going to go from there. So, that's it for this week. As usual, take care of the people you love, and we will see you next time. Bye now.